but it's about the other person. It's about getting to know them, because I don't yet know what their need is. Maybe they don't need my service. Maybe they don't need my client's service, but I probably know somebody that they might need.
All right, welcome to another episode of Connections That Matter. My name is Andrew Johnson. I own Business Networking Done Right, and today you are in for such a treat. I have one of the best networkers in Colorado, Melinda Curtis. Welcome, Melinda. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. Thank you.
So, Curtis Connections, you are a professional networker, a professional brand ambassador. Tell me a little bit about that.
I network for other people's businesses at social and networking events, also trade shows, anything that relates to needing to be out in the public eye or potential clients. That's where I thrive, and I am there to represent my clients.
And so you go to these networking events. You've seen the realm of networking, right? There's people who maybe are a little overly aggressive, or then you get the million follow-up emails, and then the other people who do it the right way. So tell me one horror story and maybe one tip of somebody who does it the right way.
Oh, does it the right way. Great. Well, hopefully I do it the right way.
Yeah.
But, and that is the connection. So someone who comes into the room and introduces themselves, but asks about the other person first, and asking about either them personally or their business, always putting, again, the other person first, rather than, hi, I'm so-and-so and I do this, and let me tell you about my business. Well, that's not really a connection starter. That's really motivational for yourself, not for the other person.
Yeah. Well, so if you go to these events, you meet a bunch of people, I think a lot of people, the goal is to not just meet somebody, but actually start to develop relationships. What is the right way to take grabbing your business card to meeting for coffee, or to actually feel if you want to create a business relationship with them?
Sure. Well, where I start is, of course, having that intro conversation at that event, and hopefully come away with something that's memorable, that I remember meeting you at that event, and I gave you my business card willingly, not, hey, give me your business card, right? There's a nice way to put it, like just you're receiving it and you're giving it in a very giving way, sure. I guess, gracefully. And then for myself, I try to the next following morning or very quickly after send off a thank you email, and also maybe even a handwritten card, so that, one, it's memorable. They have my contact information, but also giving that introduction back of like, we met at this specific thing, that networking event. And I really enjoyed meeting you. I'd love to get to know more about your business. Would you be interested in having a coffee or a lunch or, whatever it might be? But sending it over to them as an invitation, but it's about the other person. It's about getting to know them, because I don't yet know what their need is. Maybe they don't need my service. Maybe they don't need my client's service, but I probably know somebody that they might need. So that's the way I approach it.
Yeah, and I never thought that, like, networking was something you could outsource, or I know people advertise and get things out there, but I've seen you at networking events, very charming. You come in, you make people warm, you make people remember you, and if some people, they're great at what they do, they're just a little socially awkward, and it's tougher to put that best foot forward when you're making first impressions. Why don't you think more people are comfortable networking, or as comfortable as you are? Let me say it that way.
I would say each of us have our strengths, right? I'm a big advocate of maximizing our strengths. And I fortunately was blessed with the social networking ability.
Yeah.
I can meet a stranger anywhere and make some kind of connection. There's always value. There's always value in other people. And so remembering that when we're out there in the public, wherever that might be, at a networking event, at a coffee shop, that everyone should be viewed as valued, and you never know where that connection is going to lead. The other piece is, again, other people have strengths. Some of us are, or some of you are introverts. And that is a huge blessing as well, and great for certain situations. I don't enjoy sitting in a corner. I don't love to sit at a coffee shop reading a book. I would rather converse with people. Those who enjoy that, solitude maybe find it difficult to grow their business in networking occasions. So hiring somebody like me or somebody in their business who does have that gift of not feeling intimidated. We can, all of us feel intimidated. I certainly do. But going in with that attitude of, you never know what somebody else needs and that you might be able to fill that. When there is somebody, again, introverted or just, I am socially awkward, this is not my comfort zone, it's okay to rely on somebody else and be okay with that and let them give them the reins a little bit and listen, observe, feed off of that if you can, and you can walk away with something new in your pocket.
Is it something that is you're either natural at it or you're not, or is it something that you can get better at it? What have you seen from different people? Like, is networking a learned skill, or is it just more that you have it or you don't?
I certainly hope it's something that can be learned.
Okay.
I know I have learned a lot along the way.
Yeah.
My business has been a work in progress. I've certainly have observed someone like yourself in my ventures in my world, and I want to be more like people that I admire.
Yeah.
So that takes practice, and the more you do it, the better you become at it, just like anything.
Sure. Well, give me some tips. One thing I see you do, Melinda, that I think is just awesome is you make it like a team sport. Like, you'll grab people and then you'll bring them together. And it's like, if they were nervous or they were unsure, well, showing up with you, now you're pushing them a little bit out of the comfort zone, but they have some bravery because they're doing it with you. Why do you think that's so? Why do you think people are more likely to do it with a friend or two?
Sure. I love the team sport of networking.
Yeah.
I think more the merrier. And the more friends you have, regardless of the level of friendship, there's a benefit to that. And you feed off of each other. And I think it's always nice to have a warm, friendly person, part of that group, who can make that, what I say, connection, a Curtis Connections, and that, let's say, that little love connection, whatever you want to call it, where it's a warm invite to the conversation and makes it more comfortable for the third party or whoever is involved. I do this constantly, and I try to invite friends to come with me, other business owners, whoever it is, to those networking events, and then make those introductions. As I introduce myself, I try to interject of, and this is my friend, so-and-so, and I think you should meet each other, right? You never know where that connection's going to land or where it might lead. So it might be 6 months from now. It might be years from now. You never know where you're going to say, Melinda introduced me to somebody, this person, and that's what they do for a living. And I now know somebody that needs that resource.
Yeah. So in your circles, Melinda, you network a lot and you see the businesses who do it the right way. What is one person or a business that you see that does it right? What is something that helps them stand out?
Yeah. So again, those who want to better themselves in networking, emulating or hanging out with the people that you see are doing it the way you would like to do it, I feel is important. I do the same. I have a particular agent that I really enjoy going to events with. This person has a fantastic insurance agency. That person's always looking out for others first as well. They are connecting other people, and it may not be their own business that can serve them.
Yeah.
So it's about serving others before yourself, but it might turn into something for yourself as well.
Yeah. So how is it? I'm super curious because your business is helping other businesses, but you're still trying to grow your personal business. So how do you separate where you're working on the companies that you're representing versus working on your personal brand? How do you balance the two?
Yeah. So right now I introduce myself as that business who is representing other people's businesses at that event as Curtis Connections. However, I'm here this evening representing, business A and business B and maybe business C.
Yeah.
And I would love to, again, ask the person who I'm with or speaking to more about themselves, and trying to dig in just enough to find out what their needs are. Because if my clients that I'm representing that at that event makes sense to introduce them to, I'm going to highlight them. Mm-hmm. They're always top of mind for me. Even though I may have introduced myself as my business, my network is the most important, and connecting them to our target audience. So in that room, if it's a bunch of builders, let's say, and they need somebody in for a product that I'm representing, a company that represents a product, I am going to make sure that I market them and have that conversation. Some of my clients, I have business cards with their logos and their contact information as well as my own on it. So it's a dual. Sometimes I don't, depending on that level that I'm offering, with that client or what they've supplied me with. But my clients are always first and foremost. But again, I'm trying to make a real connection, not just to sell a product and not just sell, go in there and say, hey, do you have, and that I would try to avoid that.
Well, I always love finding out, why did people choose to do X with their, some people become bookkeepers, some people become professional bull riders. That's a very, very different thing. You chose to become a brand ambassador or a networker. What made you fall in love with networking?
Well, I saw the power of it.
Okay.
It's evolved. Curtis Connections did not start where it is now. It has definitely evolved. I originally started as an auto broker. And the reason why I started that, it was my own family's needs. And I'm really good at shopping, and I'm really good at, looking at what the needs are and keeping within that budget. And I discovered when I can shop for other people, find the needs, and in those connections, I get to fill those needs. And it gives me the joy of my life to see other people get what they need and value that. And that's where Curtis Connections started. How that started was somebody said, I have a friend who needs a vehicle. And because of that trust, that person did use me. And then it opened up a whole new can of worms of their friends that happens to be in a category of life that really needs an advocate for them. And that just snowballed. And so I filled that need for trust. And that led into just, even now it's been 10, 12 years ago, I still have referrals coming in, and I'm not even in the auto brokering business anymore. But I still get those phone calls because that trust started with one person and just rolled into an amazing relationship and built that trust. Where it is today is very similar.
Okay.
I did a lot of volunteer work for nonprofits, and there was just, when you get your name known as a trust source, and wasn't that was my goal. It just happens to be that when one person says, I really trust Melinda, I'd recommend her, that gives that friend that they're referring to a little bit of something to go off of. And and I get a phone call, so-and-so recommended me to you. This is my need. Great. Let's let's walk through that. Let's discover what all the needs are, and respecting that person, where they're at. And again, what are their needs? And I may not be the right thing for them, the right person or the right resource, but I probably know somebody who is.
Yeah.
So then I become that trusted resource.
Yeah, I think that's one of the the coolest things about having a robust referral network or knowing all the best people do what they do. Like, you don't want me fixing your pipes if you have a plumbing leak, but if I know a good plumber, I could actually help somebody with that by a good recommendation. You don't want me roofing a house. You don't want me probably taking your professional headshot, but if you know a great photographer, then you can help. And once people start to know that you are a recommend or you have all of the best people in a different resource, it's incredibly value, and people keep coming to you, which makes you as a connector even more valuable. So, Melinda, I know you have so many great connections, but you're also trying to grow Curtis Connections. You're trying to go, you definitely do it the right way. I know I have a lot of people in my audience that will love to connect and collaborate with another super connector. So what kind of connections are you looking for specifically for you? Not for your clients, but for you. What kind of connections would be valuable?
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And yes, I am trying to build more clientele. I have a hard time advertising for myself, just like I think a lot of us do.
Sure.
But to advocate for myself, I tend to work in groups. Right now, a lot of my clients are in the builder design area. I'd like to broaden that, but also advance that as well. So a lot of my connections and anything in construction, building world, designers, interior designers, and products that they use. Those are the very much front and center right now into my networking, but then the services as well. And that's where, for smaller businesses, where I can be their advocate for them out in the networking events. Being present, I can be there for them at hours maybe not everybody can.
Sure.
So the trades, those type of things are fantastic and fun for me because of that network that I already have, I get to build upon everybody's business all at once.
Right on. Well, if you're in the trades or if you know somebody in the trades that's looking to connect with one of the biggest givers that I know, please reach out, comment in the videos or comment in the podcast. But how can people reach you if they want to grab a cup of coffee or learn how they can get more involved?
Sure. Curtis Connections. So my email is melinda@curtisconnections.com, and it's CURTIS. And that would be a great place to reach me as my email.
Awesome. Well, if you're looking to connect with one of the best, please reach out to Melinda. Melinda, thank you so much for being on the show, and may you have all the success in your business.
Thank you. You as well.